It's done. Colourful Casa is finally finished and I'm so happy about it. Hello and welcome to Flosstube number 50. My name is Esther and I'm a moody stitcher. Last week I spent 2 days recovering from, I think it was kind of a food poisoning, which meant that I got extra time for stitching because I had to stay at home. So I have stitched 7,894 stitches, which is, I think, about the double amount of my number from my last Flosstube. Of course, the main one is Colourful Casas, which I'm going to tell you about in a moment. First, I would like to say that, yeah, I do have quite a lot to show you today. I have one FO, 6 whips, of which one is a new start. After I have showed you my project, you are welcome to stick around while I tell you a bit about the trip I made last weekend to a hidden gem of a Danish island. Actually the only island in Denmark with 2 ferry connections. And I had never been there before. But let's get into the stitching business. So, Colourful Casas. Love, 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 love. I love this one. It's so beautiful. I love the colors. I love everything about it. It was an easy stitch. Yeah, it was a pretty big one because it's actually kind of full coverage. But, oh man, I just love it. I began this one on the 4th of May, May the 4th be with you, in 2025, and I finished it on the 7th of May this year. So a little more than a year it took me to finish it. It's from Crosssticker magazine, issue 422. It's designed by Emma Congdon, also known as Stitchrovia. I have stitched it on 16 count icy topaz. This is a printed fabric, as you can see. I got it from Sew It All back when it was still possible to order stuff from the UK without having to pay a lot of taxes. So yeah. My original plan was to put it up in my bathroom, but then I came to think about it. I would actually like just to lace it. And if I lace it, it will not have glass. But I want to put it up in my bathroom with my other Mediterranean pieces. So I just decided, well, every time before I take a shower, I will just have to remove it from the bathroom. And I think it will be okay then. So hopefully next time I can show it to you laced. And if not, well, eventually it will be laced. Yeah. Yeah, I really think of Italy every time I see this one. I wouldn't mind if she made more like this. Yeah. And then again, it has been a huge work. I think there are almost 25,000 stitches in it. And quite a lot of back stitching, as you can see, but the back stitching, it's just the icing of the cake. I chose to stitch it on this icy topaz because then I didn't have to stitch the first couple of rows because they are going to be blue. I thought that this way I already had the color of the sky. So yeah, Colourful Casas by Emma Congdon. This next one is by a Danish designer. She hasn't designed that many cross-stitch patterns, but she's more into knitting and knitting patterns, but from time to time she does make a pattern. This one is a pattern for your leftover threads. It's called the bookshelf, and as you can probably see, I have now finished the shelf itself, and now comes the fun part where I can start to stitch the books. I also have to make this globus as well as this cactus, and this I don't want to stitch at it at the moment. I want this to be a project that I can just pick up and bring along without having to remember to bring my tablet because of Pattern Keeper, etc. This one I can just fill out, and then when I come home I can mark up into Pattern Keeper which books I covered. I have a lot of leftover threads. I have chosen some of these. These are all DMC. And then I have chosen some of my hand-dyed some of my hand-dyed threads. There are Misusida silks as well as my own hand-dyed silk. And yeah, I think actually it's only silks here. Yeah. So, of course, I will let you know when I have stitched on it. So anyway, it's called the bookshelf. It's designed by Kirsten Brun. I am stitching it on 16 count. What was it called? White chocolate? Yeah, white chocolate. I think it's Permin. Yeah. Which is not my favorite fabric to stitch on. I prefer Zweigart, but it's okay for a project like this. So that was the bookshelf. Oh yeah, and I did 1,908 stitches on the bookshelf. This next one is on Zweigart fabric, you can see, because of this orange thread. Can do like this. So this is the UK by Stitches Lovers Shop. I'm stitching it on 18 count vintage marble. I only worked on it for one day and I stitched 286 stitches on it. It's a bit boring to stitch on at the moment because there are hardly any changes of the color, but eventually there will be some color changes. I'm still looking forward to getting down to Big Ben. This next one is a Witchy Stitcher project. This is one of her Patreon patterns. I'm stitching it on 16 count dirty. It's called Iron Maiden. I did not stitch that many stitches on it. 90 stitches was what I did, and I was working at the bottom here. I'm stitching it on this piece of fabric where I'm also stitching another Witchy Stitcher project, namely Kikimora, but I have not been working on that. And you know, I should pull myself together and finish this one, don't you think? I'm just not in the mood for stitching it at the moment. In a moment you will see what I'm in the mood for stitching. So that was the Iron Maiden. And then one of the projects I love stitching on at the moment. It's by Madame Chantilly. It's called Summer Owls. I'm stitching it on 16 count Ada, hand dyed by me, and I did 832 stitches on it since the last time you saw it. And this is how it looks. I have been, I stitched this, and I stitched the owls and the house, and I finished this ribbon. So yeah, this is a very, very cute pattern. If you haven't been here before, I am stitching all of her owls. I have finished the Christmas owls as well as the Halloween owls. Sorry. I am also stitching her winter owls. They look like this. Also on hand-dyed fabric. And I have also begun the spring owls, also on hand-dyed. And all these fabrics are 16 count. And so these are the spring owls. At the moment I do not stitch on the spring nor the winter one. I'm only stitching on the summer one because, as I said in my presentation, I'm a moody stitcher. And it seems to me that the older I become, the more I'm getting into, I want to stitch seasonal stuff when in season, which is why I'm now, I could still stitch on the spring one because we're only in the month of May, but I have moved on to the summer one. And I think that very soon I will also start stitching again on the Tiny Modernist Summer Sampler. Okay. The next one I started a long time ago, back in 23. I think it's a miniature. I'm stitching it on 22 count Hadanga. It's a full coverage. It's by the stitch pattern. It's called Iceland. And I'm stitching it 1/1. It's the Aurora Borealis, you can see, or kind of see. I have decided that it's about time that I start to stitch on this again. So I hope, fingers crossed, that from now on I will once a week stitch just one thread on it, and then eventually it will be finished. Yeah, and I'm stitching it with one thread. My new start. Before I show it to you, I'm going to show you another one by the same designer. I think you might know Nathnolu. She is doing a series with crafting animals. I did finish the knitting raven, and this is the stitching owl. And now I am doing, this is my new start. As you can see, I've worked quite a lot on it. It's the Quilting Fox. And she just released a, I think it's a mouse doing crochet. I'm not that sure, but something to do with crochet, and I think it's a mouse. So eventually I'll have to buy that pattern as well. And I will still have, I might have enough here. Otherwise, I'm also stitching yet another one of hers, Spooky Friends, because I love that raven of hers. So here is the raven. And this is a pretty big piece, so otherwise the mouse can go there. But let's move back to the fox, because I haven't finished talking about him or her. I love the way these colors pop on this fabric. It's hand dyed by me. It's 16 count and Zweigart. And I love working on this one. This one I have stitched on for 4 days, and I did 2,226 stitches. So as you can see, I really love stitching on it. These were my cross-stitch projects for this time. If you decide to head out now, thank you for watching. I hope I will see you again, and may your threads always run smoothly. If you feel like staying a bit, I will now tell you about my trip to this island called Orø. As you can see, this is the size of the island, and it's 3 kilometers like here and about 3 kilometers here. Altogether, it's about 14 square kilometers altogether. And the island has less than 1,000 inhabitants, but there are a lot of people from outside the island who have summer houses there, or a summer house there. While I'm talking, I will of course put up some videos and some photos so you can look at them while I'm talking. So I went there because I had been invited to go there to celebrate the birthday of my sister as well as my mother. None of them had birthday on May the 9th. My sister had her birthday and my mom has very soon, but they decided to go together there. And that day the weather was very fine, and it was a very cozy day. Orø is a very active island, especially during the summer months. There are clubs, associations, and locals activities everywhere. Someone once said there's about a club or association for every 15 residents on the island, and that says quite a lot about the atmosphere there. We are still in May, so they haven't opened up everywhere, but I could see on signs that a lot of these, they have, I think, 7 or 8 places where you can eat, which is a lot of places, but some of them hadn't opened yet. They wouldn't open until by the end of May. I think in 2 weeks time or so, around the 1st of June, they will open up everywhere. As I said, there are 2 ferry connections to the island. There's one from Holbæk, which takes about 25 minutes. And the other one is a small cable ferry that goes from Hammerbakker. And that one only takes 6 minutes, and you can hardly feel that you're moving. It was a very strange experience, but also fun. My family, they were staying there for the... Hello? Hey, Felix. My family was staying there. I mean, this island is just a bit more than 1 hour's drive from where I live, so I didn't stay there. They were staying at Orø Hotel og Kro. They had a very nice cabin, and there was also a very good restaurant there. So we had very, very nice lunch as well as dinner there. I think that was about it. Sorry about Felix. He is up to no good at the moment, I can see. Felix, no. Could you please behave? Felix. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little kind of life updates, and I hope to see you again next time. Feel free to leave a comment, and of course, may your threads always run smoothly. Bye.